All right, so this is desktop review. We'll start at the top left-hand corner and kind of move our way a little bit right and then down. So we'll start off with this little Eclipse button. You click it, you have your case management option, which just allows you to open a new case or a new batch if you get pulled off. Edit tools, you can also do your global replace here, just like you could in admin, as long as you have the rights. If you're a super admin, you have those rights. I believe case admins have that, power users do not. Reports, you can also run reports off that. Again, it's permission-based. Case admins and super admins have this. I don't believe power users can run reports, or they can only run a couple of reports. Exporting your data, you can actually replicate your case, bring everything down to your local machine. This is great for if you go on to a deposition location and you don't have Wi-Fi, or you're going to do it on a plane, or maybe you win the lottery and take a trip to St. Lucia, but you still have to work. You download it to your computer, you do your review, and then you upload your modifications to the Eclipse SE server, their main database, and then typically you'd remove your local copy. So import transcripts.
Cool. I'll have you show me that in production once we get to it.
No problem. Import transcripts. This again is permission based. You can import your transcripts here, or you can be in admin and import your transcripts. Settings, you can open a workspace if you have saved workspace. You can save your workspace if you currently like how it's laid out. You can delete some if you have too many. You can change your color. If you're getting tired of this blue, you can change it to another color. You can even change it to teal or pink or whatever you care. Then we'll go back to settings. You can modify highlight color. So if you do a search, it's going to highlight those key terms. You can change that color if it's just annoying to you. You can disable that highlighting. If you did persistent keyword highlighting, you can turn that off as well. Reset document views, so just reset if you don't like how you have it right now, you messed up. Scan session, that's for if you're using scanning and going into review. You can exit your case, and then you can also access help, our online help center, or see what update version you have for Eclipse SE. Right below it, you have your refresh case data button. That works kind of just like it does in your browser. You refresh it, and it kind of just refreshes your system. So anything somebody's been doing in admin to update it, or maybe they're creating new tags or tagging more documents, this will make sure it kind of refreshes and brings it all in. You do need to be mindful that it does erase any non-saved searches. So if you've been doing searches, but you haven't saved the good ones yet, do that before you do the case refresh, otherwise it deletes them all.
And then to save the search, we hit that plus sign right there, and it'll show us like the current searches we made, and you just save it that way?
Yep.
Okay.
There's one other way to save it as well.
Okay.
So you have your quick search bar. Again, this can be single words. This can be your Boolean search syntax if you're comfortable with it. If I just type in demand, it's going to find me all documents that contain the word demand. If I want to save this, I go to that search results. This red one is the unsaved one. It will give me a little bit of information of what I typed in, what the search parameters were. Right click, save search. I can make it public or private. Private means I can see it. Public means everyone sees it. If we've created search folders for organizational purposes, we can select which search folder. If we haven't, we can just kind of save it loose. Or even if we do have search folders, we don't have to save it in there, we can save it loose. So I'm going to add my search. We're going to just call it demand search. Hit OK, and now I have a loose search. I also have an ACP search. I think we brought it in earlier. If I do want to create those organizational folders, all I do is go to Saved Public Searches, hit right click, create folder, and we'll do Claim 1 searches. Hit OK. Make sure you hit OK. Then right click on that demand search, modify parent folder, and put it in the folder you need to. Otherwise, you just right click, save search, and select that folder. You already had them created.
Cool.
So these are all our search results. If you needed to do something more complex, if you're not comfortable with Boolean search terminology, you can use the advanced search option. So this first little tab, type of search. Do we want to do it full text? Do we just want to search our category fields, custodian fields, doc tags? We have all these options, and we can combine them to make some super complex searches. We can make super simple searches. We can do whatever we want. So if I wanted to do my demand one here, full text, all fields contain the word demand, add to search criteria. Again, that search connector, if it has nothing at the end, it's not going to do anything. If you wanted to delete it, you could. If you wanted to change this drop down to just be empty, you can do that as well. Right below it is include entire family. So if an email contains the word demand, but the attachments to the email do not contain the word demand, and I click this, it's going to bring in those attachments. If I don't click this option, it's not going to bring those attachments in. So it just depends on how I want to do my searching and what I'm using my searching for. If I do select include entire family, then I want to keep the family together when sorting. So if I have my index set up as a sort to sort by creation date and time instead of beg doc value, then my attachments probably wouldn't be next to my emails. Do I want to kind of force that situation? I can save it before running it. It's on the bottom left-hand side. So if I'm pretty confident this is going to be a good search, or I just need to, get these searches created and then I'll delete it later or whatever the case may be, I can save it, name it, put it where I want it. If I just want to run the search, make sure it's a good search, I just have to hit search, and then it's going to bring in all my documents. So if you notice, search results, when I did just a quick search, it didn't bring in those families. So it only brought in 25 documents. In my advanced search, I chose to bring in those families. It brought in 55 because it brought in the attachments to the emails. If the attachment hit, then it brought in the email, whatever the whole family looks like.
And then you'll see it connected to family by the bag attachment right there, where it has the same number. Like, so that the second one right there has, GLX 82, 82, 82, 82. So that's all in the same one.
Yes, you can also recognize it by at the bottom left-hand corner, there's the case folders tab and then the relationships tab.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see whether or not that document is associated to other documents.
Oh, okay.
So this email does not have an attachment. This document does not have a native, so it doesn't have an icon there. But
Okay.
what it looks like is it's an email with 3 attachments. This job rotation, literary scholars, and ABC. So 83 is that Word document. 93 it looks like that PDF. And 104 looks like a PDF as well. So I can see my relationships here. I can also see the beg attach and beg end attach and kind of see where it ends and begins. So this document 82, yeah, 82 ends on 82, but the attachments actually end on 104. So you know it goes all the way down to here.
Okay.
In advanced search, like I said, you can do some pretty complex searches. So I can do custodian equals or does not equal Rachel De Jesus. I can choose Starbucks too. And let's see, a good one. And word contains pay. And let's see, what kind of key fields do I have in here? And is well, we have doc type for those ones. That's a good one. Trying to see what would be a good one to do. But I have like fields in. The creation date and time between 01, 01, 1988 and 01, 01, 2004. Again, I don't need to have that search connector be blank but I'm choosing to just to make a clean one. So the custodian has to equal Rachel De Jesus. The document has to have the word pay in it, and it has to be created between 1980 and 2004. I'm not going to include the entire family today. Just going to hit search, see what it returns. It returns 10 documents. So again, I can go to case folders, go to that search, right click, save search. I'll call this De Jesus Pay. And now I have that saved search. So I can make some pretty complex searches. I can add my transcripts to those searches. So I can also bring in transcript hits. I can do just transcript searches. If I have a saved search, I can add it. So I can do maybe full text with search terms like this demand search, and then also add the ACP one. So I can combine previously done searches. So I can build even more complex ones or juxtaposition them. So maybe I have a really complex search and another really complex search, and I want to see what documents are in one but not in the other. I want to compare and contrast. So I can be search one, not search two. So it's going to give me all the documents that are in search one but not search two. I can do the reverse. I can build whatever I need. Stemming, that would be like run, running, those gerunds. Phonetic would be like there, and there. Fuzzy is great for commonly misspelled words. So judgment is spelled like this. Most people accidentally spell it with that E in the middle. We can make as, complex of these searches. We can combine searches. We can do compare and contrast searches, whatever we'd like. Judgment, for that fuzzy, judgment is spelled without an E. A lot of people spell it with an E, including that gym that says they're the judgment-free zone. I can't remember what the name of the gym is. Off of Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness in their ads actually misspelled judgment. So that can be a great word to use with fuzzy. We also have this new search button called Import Search Terms. You can have a text file that has a bunch of terms in it, and it will pop in those terms. It will pop in that query. So if you have a really complicated search that you got from an attorney or a third party, or this really awesome search that you run it in every case, you can import that search syntax and bring it in. With the search, advanced search, we'll go down to our case grid view. So I'm going to go in case view. This is where all of our records and our metadata live. We see it kind of in an Excel spreadsheet kind of format. Up at the top, we can organize kind of by record or image key. So if we want to see the image key or the BegDoc number, that's going to show us right here. If we wanted just to search by record, which is like 1, 2, 3, we could see here. It will give us the total of records in our database. If we're in case view tab, if we're in a search, it will give us the total number within our search. Font size, we can change the font size. So if this is too small, we can change it. We can also change the grid size. So how many records are displayed per page. So sweet spot is about 100 to 500. I find that anything in the thousands to 10,000s just take too long to load per page. And you really just don't need that many. I mean, realistically, why are you going to go through 10,000 documents on one page? These pages, we can go to first document. We can go to previous document set. So like the new set of 500 and the new set of 50. Go to previous document, go to next document, go to next document set. So the next 500 documents, or however you have it set, and then go to last document in your database. So in this case, 396. So it'll take me to that record. If I have maybe 100, then we can actually go to different pages. I'm on the last page, that's why I wasn't doing that. Okay, so we'll go to first, then we can go to our pages, and then you'll see this one begins at record 101 and 201, and that's how I can change my pages. In our search results, there's a couple different modifiers here. So we still have our font size, but it's all the way at the end. But we can also do a search expression. So this allows us to do a search within a search. So let's say we run this search, we're doing some review, and we realize, okay, this one was on the word demand. Demand hits kind of a few times, but I really only need to see demand when it's involved with the word price, right? So if I refine this search, it's going to give me a new results search tab, and it's going to give me all the items that were included in that first search run against all words that can, or all pages that contain the word price. So it's going to further drill down that search. So now it's going to be the first search plus contains the word price. Does that make sense? I'm just doing a search within a search. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the case grid view. To edit, we can just select the field area we want to edit, hit F2, and that field becomes editable. We'll notice that it's editable, one, because the whole row turns bolded, but we also have kind of like a highlighted box around the area and our cursor. Then we can type in our data. To get out of it, we can just hit F2.
What happens if you hit enter? Does it just go to the next box over?
If you hit enter, enter goes to the next box over.
Okay.
Unless you don't have permissions, and it'll skip to whatever next one you have permissions to.
Okay.
Okay. But it'll keep you in edit mode. It won't take you out of edit mode. If you need to bulk code, we can also do that. So we can maybe select a couple here, hit F2, F2, and then it'll bulk code. We can also bulk erase that way, whatever the case may be. But it allows us to bulk code, so that way, if we know all these documents are from Ariana Ackers and we didn't put the custodian in for some reason, we can then bulk code Ariana Ackers for the custodian or the title or whatever the case may be. That's it for case view for right now. We're going to go to record view. So some people are just not into this Excel spreadsheet workaround or work view. Concordance has slightly different options, and they like this record view better. There are some pros and cons. So like I said earlier, record view allows you to do spell check and catches those spell checks. Case grid view edits do not. So if you wanted to enforce that spell check, they need to be in record view. But record view gives a more linear view of your metadata fields. If you select this little button here, we can edit all fields. You don't have to hit the F2 button. You just edit all the fields you need to in this one and save, or you can do auto save changes so it automatically saves as you edit and then go to the next document. You don't have to keep hitting F2. You can code a bunch of fields at one time in one document. So a lot of people who were concordance fans, this is something that they're used to, and this is kind of what they prefer because it's common for them. So you might see that being worked on too. You can also delete a record if you have permissions to do that, cut out fields, create new records, that kind of stuff. Close this out. To change which metadata fields you have here, you do have to use a coding form, and it will only show you those ones. You can't do like a right click or change. In case view, however, you can change those metadata fields you see. We can right click, edit grid display fields. Anything on the left side is not currently being shown but can be shown. Anything on the right side is currently shown information. So I don't really need to see the native file path, don't really need the MD5 hash, SHA-1 hash, file extension, file ID, size, this size, that size, I don't care. Maybe you don't really care about revision number, source, don't care about byte count or application version or native page counts. Don't want the file path, hidden content, don't care. I can just kind of pick and choose the ones I really don't want. So that way it kind of clears up my grid space, doesn't give me a bunch of junk I don't want. I'm not deleting any data. I'm not removing any data from my database. I'm simply just changing the way it's being viewed. So I hit apply, and now instead of all 58 fields, now I only have like 20. So it might be easier for me to be looking at it this way. Another right-click option, we can do our sorts, ascending or descending, do a multi-field sort, so a multi-tiered one. I can clear that sort. I can wrap text in a grid, kind of like how you do an Excel spreadsheet. I can manage my search tabs so I can close things out. I can
What
do
is that
search.
wrap text in grid?
And it works like an Excel spreadsheet. See?
Oh, okay. So it opens it up right there. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it just like, instead of having to expand this out, it'll just wrap text. So, you know, when you do an Excel spreadsheet, because you can't see all of it,
Mm-hmm.
it'll just wrap the text. Right click. You can split a document. So if a document maybe got accidentally combined with another one in your scanning process, or you have a contract in the attachments, you didn't do page level tagging, it needs to be broken up, you can split a document. I don't know if it's going to let me split this one. Let's try this one. Split document. Every check mark means that's where I want the new document to start. So I've now made 2 documents, so 175 through 175.3, and then the new document will be 175.4 through 6. You can see what it would look like after document split. You can configure it by big doc, big in, big attach. You can copy those document tags over. You can copy OCR over. You can do that indexing immediately or postpone it till the end. Maybe you have a lot of doc breaks you need to do. You can choose which metadata fields information comes over into the new document. It can be some, it can be all, it can be, none. You can preview the image to make sure that's where you want it to doc break. Maybe you didn't remember that it was page 4, so you need to go and make sure that it's page 4. Ensure that the extracted text looks right. Record view is just that metadata. Document tags, see if those document tags come over, what you need to come over, what you need to tag at. And then you can commit those changes once you've verified that that's how you want your document split. And then you'll see that you have 2 documents now instead of that one. We can also do the reverse. So if you have 2 documents, they got split up in scanning somehow, but they really are one document, instead of split document, we merge documents. It's going to take those 2, make it into one. Do you want all those fields to come over? How do you want to deal with that? Do you want to merge those document tags? So, wherever they don't hit up, tag them that way. Again, index however you want it. We'll generate a preview and we'll see how that document will look like once it's combined. Same with extracted text, record view. Commit those changes and then it will recombine that document. That is pretty common for people who don't do page level tagging. They split a bunch of documents because they need to have those different taggings, but because it's based on document type, they need to break up the document. View history, you can review history of the document. You can scan and insert a new document, rescan current document. So if it came in wonky from your scanner, you can rescan it from your scanning process if you have that Twain printer Twain scanner set up.
Mm-hmm. On that view history, is that only applicable if they put that history check mark on creating the case, or is it automatically okay? And on this history report right there, will it say like who touched what document, or say if they had
This
changes
one
to
is
document?
just, here, I'll show you.
Okay.
So it'll just have like date and time and what action it was and what field. So it's a data field. In body, I made a modification at this time. What user was it?
Okay.
So it gives you the time, the user, and what they did.
Okay.
All right, so we'll get out of the view of case grid view and we'll kind of move this over. We'll talk about our tabs. So in our image tab, this is where we can kind of rotate the pages. We can zoom in and zoom out if we need to. We can do markup. So this is a pen. We can make pen marks to it. This is a highlight, so we can make highlights to it. Because it is not a text image, it is a photo image, so to speak. It's an image. It needs to have boxes drawn over with the highlights. It doesn't see the words. So if we need to highlight here and then just to here, we need to draw 2 boxes. We can't, follow the bouncing ball, so to speak. We can change that highlight color by just pushing down that drop down menu and choosing what color we want to highlight. For our redactions, we can click the redaction tool, draw a box over the area we want redacted, choose which redaction category it belongs to, hit OK, and now my redaction's there. If I needed to do like a crosshatch, maybe it's not, maybe I'm a paralegal, I'm not quite sure about this redaction, I can do maybe an outline or a crosshatch, so that way my attorney can confirm whether or not that is what they want redacted. So I haven't redacted it yet. I just want my attorney to come in, look at these documents, and confirm that those are the correct redactions they want, where they want it, and what type.
What is that term by crosshatch? Is it just like so?
See how
Like,
it like has these like X's?
mm-hmm.
That's a crosshatch.
Oh, okay. So just like that's like just okay. So that, like you said, it's just like, hey, I haven't redacted this yet, but just want to confirm that this is what you want redacted.
So you can actually see the text behind it.
Okay.
If you just did the regular redaction, like a solid, it would be solid. You couldn't see it. You'd have to delete it and then reapply it. So that can kind of be a pain. So if you do it to a crosshatch, it'll be better. Text box, you can make a text box in here, make a note if you wanted to. You can make a sticky note, which are also searchable, which is really nice. So you have a sticky note, just, like your typical Post-it notes, but they are searchable. So if you put key terms in here that you're going to search again, or you're like, I made a note on here, I know I used the word complicated, you can search for those sticky notes that have the word complicated.
Okay.
You can move your document around the screen. You can scale your document, again, just a sizing thing. You can do a temporary OCR, called a zonal OCR. So you just draw a box over the zone you want OCR'd and it copies to your clipboard. So this is like if you needed to email it, put it in a pleading, paste it into somewhere, you've got that temporary output instead of being an extracted text, copy and paste. If you didn't have any extracted text in this at all, if you didn't do that OCRing, in admin or something like that, you can OCR the image here and it will be a permanent save and go to that extracted text part. Print, you can print out the document, print out the page. If I'm within a search, I can print all documents within my search. Right now I'm in case view, so go to these search results and hit print. I can choose to print out all documents that hit in the search or selected documents within that search. I can print original images or production images. I can include a slip sheet if a missing image isn't available. So if I didn't image that document, I can't print it, right? Because there's no image to print. It will put in a slip sheet for it. I can calculate the page count before I print it. So if it's 20,000 pages, I can warn people that I'm going to be printing for a long time. I need more paper. Maybe I'm not going to print this because I'm not going to print that many documents. That's just too much, whatever the case may be. Choose my printer, paper size, your normal printer settings. You can choose to print those redactions. You can choose to make them solid, outline, or crosshatch. You can choose to print your annotations and which annotations. Print search highlights. So Ariana Ackers was in my search. So do we want Ariana Ackers highlighted? Break print job at dock boundaries. So if you have your printer to do that like offset, you can do that. You can use a watermark on all these documents saying maybe not produced yet, see paralegal. Slip sheets, you can put a slip sheet between doc breaks. Endorsement types, I highly recommend all of our clients, if they are using this print function on non-produced documents or not producing the production image, map an endorsement of the image key, maybe top center, maybe in red. Printed text is just the text within the document. This is that OCRable, searchable text. It's not really containing any formatting or images. It will get those search terms highlighted. We'll keep those persistent highlighting highlighted. A lot of people use this to copy and paste or just kind of see a clear, non-distracting image of the text. Quick view. So this is kind of like a near native viewer, kind of the closest thing we have to what it would look like in its native environment. So this is the closest thing that an email would look like in its native environment. So your from, to, date, subject, how it's organized, what it looks like. Again, you'll have your highlights for your searches and your persistent highlighting. You can choose to display that or not. It will have a checkbox here. If the native file does not have an image associated with it, you can TIFF on the fly. So if you just want to TIFF here, you can do your TIFFing here, or you can bulk TIFF in admin as we talked about the other day. Production history, this is if we produced the document with like a base number, maybe confidentiality stamps, the image will show up here. If we've done it more than once, we can choose which production job image we want to see. To go through the pages are just these arrows down here. We can undock these at any time, put them to other screens, float them around our screen, close them out if we don't really care about these particular tabs. To get them back, you can go to your default workspace and it'll bring them back. I think refresh will actually bring them back too. But again, you have to make sure that you saved your searches if you didn't save them all. Next, we'll talk about doc tags. So document tagging, pretty easy, typically an easy concept for most of our clients to grasp. So we're looking at documents. We're looking at document 11. We're like, you know what? This is attorney-client privilege. So we check that box. We go to the next document.
Okay.
Let's look at it for expert Dave. It's going to be part of our initial disclosure statement. And we just check boxes. I'm going to check a couple here. That way we have it.
So document tags is just like you're just tagging the document for like, hey, this is like, the checker right there. And then what is a page tag then?
So a page tag is based on pages. So this is page 1 of document GLX 15, right? You can tell down at the bottom, this is our beg doc number. This is page 1 of 4. We can navigate through the pages down here. Or just tagging that page for production, not the entire document. Then I could go to the next page. Maybe I don't want to produce that page. Maybe it's attorney-client privilege or something. Go to page 3. I'm cool with producing that page, and I'm cool with producing that page. We've done our tagging. We can also right-click on these tabs. Search. We can search for documents tagged with this tag or not tagged with this tag, so a reverse search. If I search for documents tagged, it's going to literally give me a search for all the documents tagged with this. I can save this search as maybe my production 1, maybe depot exhibits for Dave or whatever the case may be. I can also right-click apply. I can remove from my document. I can apply to my entire search results. So if I'm in a big search result and I don't want to, select all 500 documents, but all 500 documents need to be tagged with view by expert Dave, I can just apply to search results. I can remove, so I mass remove it. I can rename my tag. I can modify my tag display. I can add tags, either private or public. I can refresh my tag palette, so if other people are adding tags, or I can reset my default tag palette to see what I want to see. Options, it's really just, do you want to prompt when applying tagging to multiple documents? So if I select 5 documents and apply a tag, it's going to prompt me, do you really want to apply this tag to all 5 documents? It's whether or not you want that prompt. And then expand all, collapse all on startup. It's just a matter of how you want to see it. Let's see. So we've got our doc tags. Any questions about those doc tags?
No, that was good.
Okay. We're going to move over to case folders over here. We kind of already talked about the relationships tab. We'll talk about the tag, or the tally tab in just a little bit, but we'll go to case folders. So those case alerts, case instructions, non-discovery documents, those are the things that were on that first tab in administration for our case when we went into like editing our case. These are documents we can upload to tell us, you know, when a disclosure deadline is coming up. Case instructions could be how we review our documents. Non-discovery documents could be pleadings or discovery-related documents, so requests for production. They can be PDFs, TXTs, Word documents, just kind of text documents giving us instructions. If we expand out Francisco v. Pablo, we can see private folders. So we can create, right-click, create private folder. Let's call this Brits. And now we have a private folder. It works just like a traditional folder. You drag and drop items into this. It's not based on a search. It's just randomly drag and dropped things. This private folder right now, only I can see it. But if I want to allow other people to see it, I can manage public access and choose which users can see it. I don't have any other users assigned to this case, so I can't choose those, but anyone else who's assigned to this case can be added. I can make a public folder so everyone can see it who's assigned to this case. And then smart folders work a little bit differently. These are folders that work off a search. So we're going to create smart folder. We'll give it a name. And we can run it off doc tags, page tags, or categories. So if I ran it off a doc tag, maybe I want this folder, for Smarty Pants, to contain all documents tagged expert disclosure and witness Dave. Hit OK. And now every time I run this search, it's going to be like a brand new search, and it will give me documents that are both tagged for initial disclosure and Dave. So it's kind of like a mini complex search. It's just called a smart folder. Again, our search folders are down here. We already kind of talked about them. If we have search results that aren't saved, these are all the searches we ran. They may be saved, they may not be saved. You can right click and save them, organize them. If they're saved private searches, they'll be under here. Transcripts, I'm going to expand this out. We have one transcript in here, Bill Gates. We can see any annotations that were made in a drop down, any issues that were applied, any notes. You can just double click on that transcript by Bill Gates, open up my work area so I can see more. On this left-hand side is just a word index. So it kind of categorizes numbers and words. I can double click on it and I can get to page and line numbers just by a single click of where that word conversation exists in my database. I can also run searches. These word indexes were typically in the back of deposition transcripts on your hard copy, and attorneys really like them. People just like it, just to scroll through here and say, look, how many times did the word December come up? Oh, that's just a lot. Let me see.
Yeah, that's actually really convenient. I didn't even know that like, the transcript thing was right there, but that's awesome.
We can turn on auto annotate, which is what I prefer when I'm doing this. We can change the font size, spacing. So if this is just too close for us, we can change it to 1.5. We can bold our questions.
Well, what does the auto annotation do?
So if I highlight here, it's going to auto allow me to apply a transcript annotation.
Okay, cool.
So I just like it to where it's like I highlight and then I select my issue. I highlight, I select my issue. I don't have to, go select my issue, highlight. It just auto annotates it for me. It's a little bit cleaner. I can link to external documents. So if I want to highlight this text right here, I can link to external document outside of my database, and then it would be just like a hyperlink kind of thing. I can also do it to a document in my database. So let's do it to this ABC1. Then I'll have this, then I'll have this hyperlink document here. I click on it and that document will come up. So I can see that document as well as the transcript. As I make annotations, that annotation dialog drop down kind of thing will pop up with what my page and line numbers were. If I've applied issues, where those exist, if I've made notes. I can delete my annotations like that. Tallying is kind of cool. Let's tally for creation date. So I'm going to select this column, creation date and time, right click, tally. My tally tab will open, and I have it right now set to month and year, so I can see how many documents were created in that particular month. I can also change my options to see it based on day or year. That I clicked here. Here we go. So I can see 302 documents were created in 13, 2020 were 11, and I have 4 documents that don't have creation date and times. So maybe I want to check those out. I just double click and take a look. Looks like those
This
ones were
also
put, go ahead.
this also works for like searching for like how many Word documents are in the okay.
Yep, Excel spreadsheets are a big one. So if I did maybe doc type isn't a good one because I don't have it in there. I already removed my extension. Yeah, let me get my extension one back. Extension. All right, where did I move it? And Italian file extension. I could grab those Excel spreadsheets. I can save this search, imaged or something like that. So maybe I created a tag that says don't image these documents, and then create a complex search that says image all documents, but not this particular search, not Excel's.
Got it.
Or something like that. You can manage, kind of all kinds of different things from Tally.